What's going on, everybody? Nick Gaschler here, and before we get into this video, I wanted to take a moment and announce that my 2022 NFL Draft Guide is now available for pre-order. For just the price of your monthly Spotify or Apple Music subscription, you can gain access to a ton of exclusive content. This year, I covered about 160 players and have a scouting report for each player of the 160 within the Draft Guide, as well as reports that you won't find here or on my Instagram. So my Instagram is at @GDN_scouting. You won't find these reports there. There are also 4 different mock drafts that are all exclusive content. I never released these mock drafts before. These are all made by me, and as well as a big board and an early look at the 2023 draft, as well as position rankings within the scouting report. So if you are interested in the 2022 draft guide, make sure to contact me by DMing me on either Instagram or Twitter. My Instagram is at GDN_scouting. Twitter is at Coach Gash. These will both be on the screen as well in the description, so check those out. Or you can shoot me an email at nickgaschler500@gmail.com. That is also going to be on the screen and in the description, so make sure to check those out. I take Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, essentially anything. If you have it, and I don't have it, I'll download it and get it for you. So these are all acceptable payments. Again, for just $10 a month, you're supporting the channel as well as being able to support my work, which I'm super passionate about, and I've been putting a lot of work in since October to make this happen. So I appreciate everybody's support, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? Nick Gaschler back here with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a guy who kind of goes under the fold a lot of times when we're talking draft. We have these quarterbacks here that we have Malik Willis, and we have Kenny Pickett, and we have Desmond Ridder, and we even have Matt Corral, but not a lot of people talk about Sam Howell. And it's unfortunate because he was a lot of people, including myself, quarterback 1 before the season, but he's kind of gone downhill since then, and I think a lot of it has to do with the losses on their offense, as well as just he's kind of sits in the middle of the pack with a lot of these other quarterbacks, and he's similar to them in the way that he's super, not raw, but he's super underdeveloped, and he's going to have a lot of work to do on the NFL level. He's kind of in that tier for me with Matt Corral, because I have Willis and then Pickett and then Corral and Howell, and it's interesting to look at because he does a lot of the same things as Matt Corral does. I think he's pretty athletic. He's got a big arm. I think he needs to improve on some accuracy things, and I think he has a tendency to play hero ball. But he projects pretty well to the NFL. He may need a couple years on the bench, but he could easily become a starter, and teams may target him at the back end of first round, but we just don't hear about him. So here I'm here with about 8 plays again to just demonstrate how I feel about Sam Howell and why I think he's kind of going under the radar a little bit. This first play right here, I mean, he's a great deep ball thrower, and he does a very good job of being able to throw the deep ball down right here, get that thing downfield. And unfortunately, the problem is it's not a good, well-placed ball, right? And you look across the field, he's kind of locked onto this one read here, this slot receiver, this number 2 receiver, down the field. And you'd like him to make a better throw because this isn't the best look. I mean, there isn't much separation towards the end there, but elsewhere, by the time he releases, this has come back. It looks like there's not too much separation going on here. Number 2 has this guy locked down. There's just really not much going on for Sam Howell to throw to. So I think he picks the best option here because this receiver is able to get the most separation out of the 3. And he's able to deliver a deep ball. It's a pretty deep ball. Solid mechanics on the throw. I like his footwork. And then the follow through is pretty good despite pressure in his face. It just doesn't fall because he doesn't get enough arm. It doesn't go far enough downfield to the point where that separation can continue, and he placed it right here where with the corner coming this way, you kind of want to place it right here on his back shoulder to be able to get a good pass going downfield if it's accurate. And it's overthrown here, and we'll watch the wide view to try and see that a little bit better. But we also see he starts off looking at the safety, doesn't really spend too much time on it, and goes back over the receiver. He locks on his primary read pretty quickly, and we see that this ball lands right here, where it really should be like right here, where this receiver can continue and stride and get it on that 20. That's a tough throw to make. I get it, because he is on the like on the 30-yard line, so that's a 30 to 20-yard throw. That's a lot. That's like a 50-yard or 40, 60-yard throw, which is hard to make, but I know he can make it because he has a good deep throw. He's got a good arm and whatnot. It just doesn't land here, and that's kind of my issue with him. He struggles with decision making, even though this was probably the best look that he got, and he struggles with being able to place the ball accurately on all aspects of the field. And this play is a good example of a continuation of that, of where he's not too accurate as a passer. You see a lot of his balls go high, a lot of his balls are behind, and this ball, for example, is behind. This is a perfect look because number 0 coming across the field here on a slant. If you place the ball right here, that's an easy 10 to 20 yard gain. Instead, Howell doesn't really anticipate too well and throws the ball behind the receiver, which makes the receiver have to stop, catch it, and then turn upfield, and that gives the corner a chance to catch up. If he threw it right here, maybe right here on this hash, he gives the receiver an opportunity. So right here, he gives the receiver an opportunity to keep running in stride and be able to get that ball and turn upfield quicker. Instead, the receiver has to adjust and have to make a better catch and secure that on his back shoulder, which is not preferred. And that's why I think Sam Howell runs into a lot of problems. His 2021 and 2020 tape, he had a lot of problems being able to deliver balls with good anticipation and whatnot. And I think that's one of his biggest weaknesses. The accuracy is just so inconsistent. Again, you see a lot of throws high, you see a lot of throws just not in the right direction. Like we saw in that last play, you see a lot of throws behind on this really this anticipation, this sophisticated ball placement. Because it's one thing to just throw in the general direction of the receiver. He does a good job. I mean, you can do that pretty easily. But then it gets to a whole nother level of sophistication of being able to place it right here, whereas right here, and it may not be super sophisticated, but it's a step up from just throwing it in the general direction and placing it right here rather than right here or right here. So and Howell just is not too consistent with that, so I'd like to see that improve. But also, to Sam Howell's credit, we see a lot of bad plays, especially in 2021, because he is without. I think he lost some linemen. He definitely lost a receiver, De'Ami Brown. He lost his 2 running backs, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, who were both beasts in pass protection. So he lost a lot of different players, and it hurt him early on in the season. And we see this right here. Let's watch the number 3 receiver right here, who I'm highlighting. He runs a really good route and is able to get open up here. But by the time he gets open, there's already pressure in Sam Howell's face. Let's watch it from this angle. Just watch him and the offensive line. There's already pressure in Sam Howell's face. And I timed it out. The pressure comes to Sam Howell within about 2.62 seconds based on what I timed. And this receiver gets open at about 2.4 seconds. So he has 0.02 of a second to make this throw. That's clearly not enough time, and obviously it looked like he was targeting him right before he got the pressure up in his face, and that could have been a really good play right there for him. This guy is also wide open. He just isn't able to make those plays because the pressure is in his face so quickly. He's running read options, and the side that should be blocked is screaming into his face and his eyes, and he isn't able to make a good play. I mean, these are just little examples of where Sam Howell's help kind of fails him this year, and I think that really hurt his stock as a whole. And additionally, in the Mac Brown offense, you see a lot of one-read broadcasting type of plays, and this is a good play right here. This receiver on the left side is going to be running a comeback right here, and Howell broadcasted the whole time. Let's watch his eyes. He's going to look this way, but then immediately look this way once he finishes his play action fake. And he's looking this way the entire time, and this linebacker sees it, drops into his zone, sees the ball come his way, and this corner puts his eyes here, and then gets his eyes back to the quarterback right here and is able to see the ball coming his way the entire time, and then get there to create a turnover for the Virginia Tech defense. He's able to wrestle through and get this ball here. Not good work from Sam Howell, because on the backside, you have a wheel route ran by this guy and then an in route ran by this guy that are both wide open. You have the protection to sit there and back in the pocket a little bit and make a play. If you turn your head this way, you have a wide open wheel route up here, and then you also have a dig route right here that's pretty open, that are both going to get you more yards than this comeback ultimately would. So it's all about being able to survey the field, read coverages, and then make your progressions accordingly. These one-read systems that are very popular in college, we see it with Malik Willis and Matt Corral, who I've covered on the channel already. They do the same exact thing, and I'd like to see that get better. And while Howell does have a lot of these one-read plays, he also is probably the most consistent out of the three that I just mentioned of Willis, Corral, and him. He's probably the most consistent at being able to look around and progress a little bit. So he's going to read this receiver down low here who seems to be running a post. When he realizes it's not open, he's going to move to a second read, which is this receiver right here, who's able to stop and just get open right there. And be able to catch the ball. And that's a good play, right? Because instead of reading this where we have this receiver pretty well covered up with number 2 in good position to make a play, we're going to go over and find the receiver that's wide open on this left side and be able to get him the football for ultimately probably more of a gain than this post would have gotten if he had thrown it. So I like the poise too. There's a lot of pressure in his face, and he does a good job of being able to stop that, or on his backside at least, and then also being able to follow through with it. He falls over, but he still delivers a good football. These are the positives with Sam Howell. He has a good arm, good zip on that football, and decently accurate throw too. I just like the ability of being able to look around and make your reads and process a little bit. And when we get into the late game, and these last 3 throws are good late game situations. When we get into this, there's a trait called hero ball that I haven't had to mention in a couple years. It's been a couple years since I mentioned hero ball. But Sam Howell plays a lot of hero ball, and I don't love that. And hero ball is when the game is on the line, you just make a bunch of big throws without really thinking about it. You're trying to be the hero of the game. You're trying to be the guy that throws the 70-yard Hail Mary for the game-winning touchdown. And most of the time, it doesn't really go all that well. And we see it right here. Howell is able to drop back and then extend the play with his legs when he feels pressure, but just take the sack right here, right? You're back up to the line of scrimmage. Just take the sack and live to fight another day, and don't force a really bad throw, because if he doesn't throw it well, or if these guys are in better position, that's a pick. If this guy is able to come over and see it early, that's a pick. Or this guy come up and make a pick, this guy can make a pick. Instead, it's just an incompletion, which is probably the best case scenario, but I don't love that, and I get trying to throw the ball away, but you're already at the line of scrimmage. You're not losing any yardage. Just take the sack and live to fight another day instead of potentially throwing an interception. But then again, you have plays where Sam Howell can make it work, and this is a good example of one. He, again, is pretty similar play type. He's going to drop back and see pressure, and he's going to be able to move out and make a good throw, get him and be able to move the sticks for a first down. Especially, it looks like there's a 4 right here, so that's going to be a big 4th down conversion for the Tar Heels right here. And Sam Howell was able to make that happen by being able to extend the plays with his legs. I didn't show any scrambling examples in this film session, but he's a good scrambler. He has good legs and athleticism. He should be a pretty mobile quarterback on the next level. But right here, he's just able to use his legs to extend the play and get out of the pocket. Also poise. We have this guy in his face with both his arms up, and Howell's able to deliver a pretty solid football to this receiver and be able to get him to move upfield and put him in a place where he's open to move upfield and get more yards after the catch. That's a good job from Howell of being able to extend the play, and sometimes hero ball does work, but most of the time it doesn't. And this is a great example of that. This is exactly what I was talking about 2 plays ago in the late game. He's going to drop back, he's going to have to use his legs, and he gets into a sticky situation, and that's a pick to end the game. You just can't be making those mistakes, man. That's Baker Mayfield. That's Baker Mayfield stuff. That's just not good quarterback play from the next level, and you have to develop and get past that. Now, Sam Howell does that a lot. And I don't like the Baker Mayfield comparison because it's pretty common, and I don't really see it out of him too much anymore, but there are plays like Baker Mayfield had when he was playing a bunch of hero ball that Sam Howell also does the same thing, which is why those comparisons exist, and this play is just one of them. I don't like that. I'd like him to be better, and just maybe take a sack here. I get that it's a tough play to take a sack on because you're trying to win a game and you're pretty far back. But making a throw like that is just not going to win you any games, and he did that quite a bit within the film that I watched on him. So just a couple things to think about. This is also plays like these. This Virginia Tech game was the first of the season, and really hurt his stock, and I don't think he ever really recovered from that. So this is just a couple examples of why Sam Howell has fallen and kind of disappeared in this draft class. So in conclusion, it's hard to get a gauge on Sam Howell's stock. He came into this year the many people's quarterback 1, and throughout the process whether it was due to bad play, whether it was due to lack of weapons on offense and regression, or whether it was due to just guys like Kenny Pickett and Matt Corral and Malik Willis making more plays than him. He's fallen and kind of disappeared in this quarterback class. And as of now, I do like him. I think he has a good amount of upside. He doesn't have the highest ceiling similar to a Kenny Pickett or a Matt Corral, but he definitely has a pretty high floor in my eyes. And I don't think he's a first-round guy. I think he's more of a second-round guy, but he'll probably end up maybe shocking people by going in the first round just because not a lot of people have heard his name yet. And generally, those second-round graded quarterbacks tend to go in the first round because you see a lot of NFL GMs value that fifth-year option on a potential rookie quarterback. Being able to get more out of the quarterback's rookie contract is definitely important, and Sam Howell could be one of those guys. So pretty much concludes it. I don't really know where his stock is, but I did want to make a video on him because I thought he was a pretty interesting player, and we needed more offensive guys because we're about to go on a big defensive run of film sessions. So I have a scouting report out on him on GDN_scouting on Instagram, so be sure to go follow that. Make sure to like and subscribe this video. I'd really appreciate that, and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.